I have done a Stickman playing baseball animation in 10 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour, and 10 hours. Let's play baseball. I knew that I would not be able to get to the second frame. Actually, I wasn't even able to complete the motion lines for the ball. Don't know about the ball, but this bat must have been hitting the gym regularly. I started with the same bat that was used in our last encounter, but this time Stickman managed to hit the ball. I also added an in-between frame and some motion lines to the ball. Also added a follow-through frame in the end. Looking at the time we had, it is a good hit. I started with the black Stickman, but then decided to use the blue and green Stickman. Blue was a batter and green was a pitcher. Animating green as a pitcher was a bit harder than blue with a bat. It took me 5 minutes to draw all the frames. I drew the bat and added the ball. Here the ball was just a bigger sized brush dot. I had around 1 minute left for the heads, so I decided to add solid heads, which were also the larger sized brush dots. This completed the animation on time. First, I was going to draw the basic background like green grass and blue sky, but I thought, why not use the nighttime for our baseball animation? So I added a green color for the field and a dark midnight blue color for the sky. Then I added the poles of the stadium lights. Then for a light effect, I used a spray brush and an airbrush. Also added some highlights to the poles and some faint grass strokes for the ground. For the field, I did not draw all the lines and bases because of the limited time. I just drew a dirt patch for the pitcher and the batsman. After 18 minutes, our background was ready. For the animation, I decided to use yellow and blue Stickman because only those two colors were able to stand out in that background. While 20 minutes were remaining, I completed the throw. Then I started adding yellow Stickman. I added him first at the frame where the ball was about to be hit. From that frame, I animated the yellow Stickman. Then I added a baseball bat. It is a classic baseball bat. Then I added the heads. As 5 minutes were remaining, I decided to hit the ball in Blue's head. I added some frames in the last few seconds, and our animation was ready. I decided to draw a baseball stadium for this animation. For that, I analyzed some pictures of the stadium and drew a rough sketch. Then I started adding lines. I used the ruler and circle tool for lines, so it will look better. Honestly, I know basic things about baseball. If I get anything wrong, please tell me in the comments. I also added the light and dark grass patterns on the field. I checked many times whether I got everything correct or not. It took me 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete the stadium background. But there was another background. The closest one where we see the ball is thrown and hit. It took more than 39 minutes to complete the second background, which was a closer look at the game. Here we will see the ball getting hit or the batter getting out trying to hit it. Then I started considering the colors of the Stickman. I decided to use black and yellow Stickmen for this animation because they both contrasted the background perfectly. I also added some crowd to wrap up our background. For animation, I had to create a sequence of play so that the game would end when we finish our animation. Our game started from the top of the 9th. Scores were black 13 and yellow 14. I started animating by drawing the yellow Stickman throwing the ball. I observed some videos of pitchers and then applied the same things to the animation. The pitcher's positioning was really hard to draw because the yellow Stickman is facing directly into the screen, and the black is directly facing us. This was a bit of a different angle than our regular angle, where Stickman only faces to the sides. Then I added the ball. I thought using a guideline would be better to add the ball in the right trajectory. I started adding the black Stickman where the ball and bat would make contact, and then animated the Stickman swing backwards. After that, I added the baseball bat. I tried adding some color and patterns to it rather than keeping it plain. Black hits the ball towards the yellow and gets out. This was the second out. I also had to add a glove, which was pretty time-consuming, but it was essential because it gives you that baseball feeling. Cut to the next pitch. This time our Stickman will hit the ball and run for the base. That was the plan. I added the dipping ball trajectory by using a guideline. With this angle, as the ball gets closer to the batsman and gets parallel to our eyesight, I had to place the balls closer to show that it is still traveling. After the ball was hit, I went to the second background where we see the whole field. But while editing, I realized my time-lapse recording for that particular file was off. I did not record 23 seconds of animation. I was feeling frustrated, but this animation was complicated. I made 6 files, 2 for background and 4 for animation. Anyway, I will tell you what happened in those 23 seconds. 1 base hit, a home run, taking the score of the B team to 15, and a third out. So we go directly to the bottom of the 9. But before that, let me complete the rest of the top of the 9 close-angle frames that were recorded, thank God. It was time for the home run. I animated the throw again, and I realized that adding gloves will be a hell of a task. Then I added a black Stickman hitting the ball. This hit needed the full power, and that's why I had to add the follow-through and control on that hit. Control means the balance of that batter. I also drew a different baseball bat for him. The score was black 15, yellow 14, and 2 outs. I decided to add the scores in the end, just to make things less complicated. It was time to end the black innings. For that, I again added the pitcher and then the left-handed Stickman who is going to hit the ball in the air and get out. I completed 6 hours just after adding the black Stickman. In this, I wasn't able to show you half of the animation process, mainly field view of top of the 9th. But you will see that in the results. Is it top of the 9 or top of the 9th? Educate me in the comments. So, 4 hours were remaining, so I kept 2 hours for head adding and scoreboard. And I only had 2 hours to complete the animation. It was time for the bottom of the 9th. Black in defense and yellow in offense. First, I added the black pitcher. For the first pitch, I used a left-handed pitcher. Left-handed pitcher was difficult to draw, so I thought, are left-handed pitchers also really hard to play against? Here, yellow scores a home run on the first pitch and the scores were tied. Then I shifted to the second background, where I animated the home run. Here, drawing the runner running around all bases was time-consuming, so I animated its run like a cartoon. Here I added the heads already, so I don't have to come back for heads here. I had to add some sparkles, which was also time-consuming. It was looking like an easy win for the yellows, but a new pitcher came and took 2 outs. He doesn't stop there. He brings the batter to the edge of the strikeout that could win the game for blacks. The third batter misses 2 strikes, but when it mattered, he managed to connect before he got strikeout and ran for it, hoping that the ball would go for a home run. In these 2 hours, I couldn't complete the animation. I added 1 home run, 2 outs, and the last strike, but I had to animate the last winning run in the remaining time. The fly ball lands safely, and the batter reaches second base. The right fielder throws the ball, but the batter was on his way towards third base. So he throws the ball at third base, but that fielder drops the ball. He fumbles under pressure, and with this he completes the inside the park home run and wins it for the yellows. I completed the ending in the 9th hour and added the text, scoreboard, and heads in the last hour. There was no time left for adding gloves. Honestly, I needed another 15 minutes to add the heads. Without the heads, the animation looked dull. With these extra minutes, our baseball animation was ready.
Out! Safe! Out! 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 Strike! Strike! Out! Safe! Out! Out! Out!